Gary, welcome to AFL.com.au.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. And let's start by talking about your 2012. How's your season going? Nearly midway through the season. How's it going for you?
It's been a tough year for us so far. We obviously played 9 games, haven't won a game yet. But at the same time, when I moved up here, I knew it was always going to take time. And we've got a very young side and a very young list. And although we haven't won a game yet, I've seen a lot of improvement from last year. I think the guys are really maturing as leaders, and I think one day it'll just click, and we'll take a massive leap forward. And I'm looking forward to that time. I've obviously signed a 5-year deal up here, and I'm hoping that we can have some success before that time's up.
And personally, how's your own form gone compared to how you benchmark yourself against other seasons? Do you think you're going all right?
It's hard to say. I think playing at Geelong, I played in a very successful side and had a lot of great players around me. And I've moved up to a younger side where the boys are very inexperienced. I guess I've just gone out there to play my role. It's a very different role for me, being captain of the football club, and I've had to change a few things on the field and off the field, to improve my leadership. And I'm really enjoying that role. And to kind of answer your question, I personally, it's hard to tell, but yeah, I felt I've been consistent since I've been up here, and I just want to keep improving my game. I still think that I can improve in areas, and hopefully that can help the team have some success.
As you said, the wins haven't come so far, but give some KPIs where you think the Suns actually have improved on last year, a couple of signs that you look and say, yeah, we're doing better than last year.
Yeah, I think the boys are fitter, stronger bodies this year. We spent a lot of time in pre-season in the weights room, and I think defensively we're a better side than we were last year, and I think that always takes time. I think that comes with experience. I think when you first come into AFL football, especially with the talented kids we've got, they were used to just running around and chasing the football, and they've had to learn over the last year and a half that a good defensive side is what wins your games and what wins your premiership. So we've worked a lot on that over pre-season, and there's still a lot of improvement to go. But we're slowly getting there, and if we can keep improving those areas, we're going to be a great side in the future. And
by the same token, what's been disappointing about the year? A couple of areas you could point to and say we haven't stepped up to the mark. Just
the inconsistency of those things, I think. If you look at a lot of games this year, we've played very well for a half. There's been games that we've gone into that we haven't been expected to win, that we've been up at half time. And then, the boys just lose their concentration, or the team loses its concentration, and, we start losing structures and little things like that. And I think the whole team's starting to realise how important doing those little things well are. And as soon as we can do that for 4 quarters, we're going to start winning some games.
You're finding it frustrating that the wins haven't come? Are you able to sort of go home and switch off and look at the bigger picture, or does the losing get to you personally? There was the footage they showed last week of you looking a bit frustrated with Rory Thompson. Was that an isolated incident? Are you finding it frustrating at times?
There's no doubt I'm finding it frustrating. I go out there to win. I want to win every week. I'm a very competitive person. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that affects the person I am and the leader I want to be. I was very surprised that got blown up into a big thing. I would have done that. I've said this in the media before. I would have done that 200 or 300 times over my career, where I've challenged blokes like that. And it was a very friendly challenge. And I'm going to continue to do that in the future. And if the media want to make things out of it, well, then that's good for them. I'm up on the Gold Coast to do a job, and that's to captain the football club and help the club be as successful as it possibly can. And the club had no problem with it, and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah. Has your game changed since you joined the Suns? Do you play a different type of football, or is your brief to play the same sort of footy you played, although you use at Geelong?
I think I still play very similar football. I think at the Suns, maybe my percentage of contested balls had to go up. I think at Geelong, because there were such fantastic players down there, you can make early decisions to run into positions where you knew you were going to get the ball because the guys had played together for so long and they gelled and they knew each other's strengths and weaknesses. Where, we've only been together for a year and a half up here. We're still learning each other's strengths and weaknesses, and the more time we get together, the more experience, the better we're going to be for it.
Talking about taggers these days, how are they going about their business? Are they more sophisticated? Are they better? Or does the league need to do something about them?
I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. Look, I can understand that certain players are obviously given roles to go out and play, and whether that's role is to shut down a Judd or whoever it is, the best players in the opposition team, then I'm all for that. But it's when players aren't looking at the ball at stoppages, or they're going against the rules to stop you. That's when I think it's unfair. And I've mentioned before, I think it's a tough job for the umpires because they've obviously got so many things they've got to watch. They've got to watch the stoppage. They've got to watch every player at the stoppage. But I think if they can pay a few free kicks early in the game, it's going to stop it.
Give me the name of a couple of players at the start of the game and they're lining up next to you and you think, gee, I'm in for a long day today, a long, tough day at the office.
I don't think I want to name too many names. I know when I first started getting tagged 3 or 4 years into my career, I went along and I watched some of the great players like Nathan Buckley and Benny Cousins and some of these great on-balls to see how they dealt with taggers.
What about State of Origin or some sort of all-star game, either before the season or take some time off during the season? Have you got any views on that?
I would love State of Origin to come back. It was when they played
2008.
2008, yeah, and I was meant to play in that, and I had a calf injury, and unfortunately missed out, which I was pretty shattered about, and haven't obviously played it since. So I'd love them to bring it back.
And when should they play it?
I think in the pre-season would be good. Maybe chuck that in instead of one of the pre-season matches. It'd be a good warm-up coming into the season, and I'm sure a lot of the players are for it. I'd love to get out there and run around with some of the best players in the game. You obviously get to play against them, and to have the opportunity to run around with them, and it would be something I guess you'd never forget, and make sure you bring it back.
Well, this will be seen by the right people, Gary. Tell me, you obviously still keep an eye on the Cats. Yep. A lot of talk about whether the premiership window is still open down there. What are your thoughts on how they're going?
Yeah, look, they've been in great form for the first half of the season, but they're obviously a fantastic side. They've got so many great players, and they've got some good young players coming through as well. So I still think they're the chance to win the premiership this year. I think they need some things to go their way towards the end of the season.
Who do you love watching outside your side at the moment? Who's the one player that you'd pay the $20 at the gate to go and sit down and watch play footy at the moment?
One player I really enjoy watching is Joel Selwood, an ex-teammate of mine. I used to love playing with him, and obviously now watching him. I think just the way he goes about his footy, he's the ultimate professional. I haven't seen anyone that trains harder than Joel does, and he obviously goes hard at it, but at the same time he's a very skillful player, got a great footy brain, and I'm hoping that he can help them get a premiership this year. Before the Gold Coast sunset, getting up there and winning a few.
Before you start challenging. Now, tell me, you're obviously you're a Gold Coast man now. You're part of your brief as captain of the club. You're the figurehead of the club and the AFL in the Gold Coast region. How's the sport going up there?
Yeah, there's no doubt it is a tough market, and there's going to be a lot of challenges, or it is a tough market, and there's going to be a lot of challenges along the way. But I think to date, things are going well. To sign up 14,000 members in your first year, I think is a fantastic effort. And I think as soon as we start winning games is when more people are going to jump on board. And I hope the game really does take off up there, and I think it will. And I'm glad that I could be a part of that to help that.
Now, we know just a couple more go. We know guys like Dave Swallow, future stars of the game. Give us a name of someone at the Suns we might not know much about who will be making headlines the next couple of years as one of the guns of the competition.
If you've got 20 minutes, I could go through a few. Zach Smith, young ruckman. He really impressed me in his first year at the club. We didn't really hear a lot about him when I first got to the club, so I didn't know what to expect, and come out and had a really good first year. I'm Prestia, Harley Bennell, who started showing over the last 5 to 6 weeks how good he's going to be. As you mentioned, Dave Swallow. We've got Josh Caddy there in the centre, who missed a lot of games through injury last year, and he's had a fantastic pre-season. And I think Trent McKenzie's the other one.
How's Jago O'Meara tracking? He can't play AFL football this year, but I imagine he's part of your program and training. Is he coming along nicely, as they say?
I should have named him. I think he's the pick of the bunch. Right. He's impressed me so much since he's got to the club. He's going to be a future leader of the club, and I could see him being as a captain of the football club as well. great young kid.
Who does he remind you of? I mean, pick a player who's in the AFL at the moment who we should think of when we think of him.
I actually reckon he's very similar to a Harley Bennell, who we've got in our side. He's probably a 185 centimetre, plays a lot taller than that though, got a fantastic leap on him, very quick, great skills on both sides of his body. Hopefully I'm still running around so I can play beside him when he is playing that good footy.
And finally, this is the most pressing thing on your mind outside the Gold Coast Suns would have to be, who's going to win the NBA title this year?
Yes, it is. It's the Miami Heat. Massive fan of the Miami Heat. Love LeBron James and D Wade, and I'm really hoping they win it this year. I've said to a lot of people, if they don't win it this year, I'll be shutting down my Twitter and all my social media accounts because I copped it last year when they didn't go on to win it. So go Miami Heat.
Okay, look, thanks for joining us on AFL.com.au. It's been great watching you help build a football club at the Suns, and we wish you all the best for the rest of the season and for the future as well.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.